Welcome to our few moments together on the Parsha, the Shabbos. The Shabbos, of course, which is the day before the saddest day in the Jewish calendar year, Tisha B'Av. We read Parshas Devarim. The idea of Parshas Devarim is to help us understand what we need to do in order to hopefully correct those shortcomings which led to the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, and which we need to correct in order to once again have the privilege of coming to the land of Israel under the leadership of Hashem and the freedom of the Jewish people. In the very first pasuk that comes in this week's Sedra, we find a number of places that are hinted to in the pasuk. Eila hadvarim asher diber Moshe al kol Yisrael. These are the words that Moshe spoke to all of Israel. Be'ever Hayardain, on the other side of the Jordan. Ba'arava mol Suf, facing Suf. Bein Paran uvein Tofel, between Paran and Tofel. What places is he referring to when he refers to Paran and Tofel? The Lavan and Lavan? The white? White what? V'chatseros and Chatseros Udizav, and all the multitude of gold, and so on. What is it referring to? Of course, Rashi gives us a hint a little bit about this, and if we think about it, let's try to analyze two of the places that the Jewish people were complaining about and worried about. First of all, we have the concept that these are the things which are hinted to in a short way, and that is Paran. Paran, of course, refers to the time that the Jewish people sent out the spies from Midbar Paran. And Lavan and Tofel refer to the white mun, that somehow was not appreciated by the Jewish people. In fact, based on a pasuk in Eov, Rashi seems to hint, and if you take a look at the Sifsei Chachamim, it implies that they attached themselves to this complaint of Lavan, of white. What was the complaint of the white, and what was the complaint of the Midbar Paran? Interesting, of course. Midbar Paran refers to the sending out of the spies. That was at the beginning of the 40 years. Tofel and Lavan refers to the mun which accompanied them throughout the 40 years. What is the connection between the beginning of the 40 years in their complaint and the end of the 40 years in their complaint? Reb David Feinstein, Zechat Tzaddik Levacha, in his beautiful Perush on the Parsha, explains as follows. The Jewish people, in order to be able to maintain the gift of the mun coming every day, had to be aware of the source of the mun, that it was given to them by Hashem on a daily basis. Of course, they could not save for the next day because it wasn't capable of lasting. The bread was called by the Jewish people lechem hakalokel, simple bread which spoils so quickly, of course, because you had to have the bitachon, the faith, the emunah in Hashem, that each day he would renew all the gifts that he was going to give us. We couldn't save for the next day. And that was a little bit of a fault on their part. And of course, when it came to the spies, the fault lay in the way they sort of discounted the gift of Eretz Yisrael, because they knew, as Moshe later on in Chumash Devarim says, Einei Hashem Elokecha ba meireshis shana ad acheris shana. The eyes of God are upon the land of Israel from the beginning of the year until the end of the year. And people have a problem constantly being scrutinized. We all do. We all don't necessarily want to be pointed out all of the shortcomings that we have in our emunah, but that is basically the one characteristic that held the Jewish people throughout all the centuries. And even though we sort of negated that gift at the beginning when we sent out the spies, and throughout the 40 years when we were given the gift of the mun, nevertheless, Hashem is telling us, you're capable of putting your trust before Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was telling us, you're capable of putting your trust in Hashem on a daily basis and relying on Him, that things should turn out the right way. And when we put our emunah and our bitachon, whether it be by the sending out of the spies or how we get our daily bread, how Hashem watches over our actions and deeds and forgives us for our shortcomings. And even though we've suffered on Tisha B'Av twice with the destruction of the Beis HaMikdash, we are not bereft of a hope for the future, because Hashem has promised that there will be the building of a Bayis Shlishi b'meira v'yameinu. And consequently, despite the fact that Devarim gives us a little bit of angst because it's pointing out our shortcomings, and we must admit that we have them. We all have them. We need to try to get better. It's so difficult sometimes to make ourselves better. It's a real challenge. But Hashem says you can do it. Because the pasuk at the end of all the readings that we say in Eicha, Ashivenu Hashem Elecha v'Noshuva Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem, it's possible to return, and Hashem will bless our days as of old. That's what we have to look forward to in Parshas Devarim and in the fast of Tisha B'Av. It's possible. It can be done. We have the ability to do it. It's a challenge. It's difficult. No one denies the difficulty, especially when we see so many of our brethren, Nebuch, not observing and not caring about each other. It's so unsettling and so painful, but it can be done. And we will do it. We will do it because Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. We will renew our days as of old. And the reading of Parshas Devarim and the hints of the shortcomings are only there to spur us on to achieve that opportunity, that goal of putting things back together, of attaching to all the good things that Hashem has given us, and to be thankful for them, so that we can once again see peace in the land of Israel. We can see growth in Eretz Yisrael. We can see the fulfillment of promises in Eretz Yisrael. Our brethren throughout the world will come to realize the gift that Hashem has bestowed upon us by giving us this opportunity. Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. I wish everyone a meaningful Shabbos, a wonderful Tisha B'Av in terms of the accomplishment that we speak about now. And we should see the fast of Tisha B'Av turn around and become a day of joy and thankfulness for the gift that Hashem has given us by caring for the Jewish people throughout all the exiles and all the difficulties that we face. And let's come together as one people. Let's get rid of all the silly foolishness that we sometimes dwell on. That's so unnecessary. It's so unnecessary. We are one. We're one people. Let's join together and see the future be as bright as Moshe Rabbeinu tells us it's possible, because we can overcome these things, because we can be grateful for all that Hashem gives us. And Mi'etz Hashem, we will come together to sing Hashivenu Hashem Elecha v'Noshuva Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. Shabbat Shalom U'Mevarach. A meaningful and thoughtful day of Tisha B'Av in which we can rise above and become the nation that Hashem seeks, one that loves each other, a nation that cares for every Jew, for every other Jew. And we can build the Beis HaMikdash b'mheira v'yameinu.